Welcome to Session 3 of the Florida 4-H Spin Club Leader Training, Positive Discipline, and Risk Management. Upon completion of this training, you should understand that all youth have positive qualities, understand the motivations which make youth behave the way they do, demonstrate positive approaches and positive reinforcement when dealing with challenging behaviors, identify tools used to assess risk when planning 4-H events and activities, demonstrate what to do if an accident occurs, and have a basic understanding of 4-H insurance coverage. This is a two-part training. We will first focus on positive discipline. As adult volunteers, it is likely that we will at some point during our club activities encounter a youth who misbehaves. It is important to understand why and know how to react ourselves. Let's begin by reviewing why youth misbehave. While youth might misbehave for a variety of reasons, there are some common reasons that you should be aware of and consider in your programming and dealings with youth. First, youth who are bored are more likely to engage in inappropriate behavior in order to entertain themselves. Planning activities that keep youth engaged can help prevent this from happening. Likewise, when we ask youth to do something that is too difficult for them, they may become frustrated and act out as well. By knowing the skill levels of your youth, you can easily avoid these pitfalls. Youth may also misbehave when they are upset about something. The cause of their frustration may have occurred before or after they arrived at your club meeting. But by helping them to calm down, you may be able to sidestep negative behaviors. Finally, youth who do not get enough sleep, enough to eat, or enough positive attention from peers or adults may become irritable or seek attention. Make sure there are scheduled breaks and snacks when appropriate, and look for ways to give youth positive attention. The best way to avoid misbehavior is to be proactive. Someone who is proactive tries to avoid conflict before it happens. This can be done by setting rules and going over them before starting an activity. By clearly defining expected behaviors and outlining the consequences if someone misbehaves, youth are less likely to act out. They want to avoid the negative consequences. Also, when possible, involve the youth in planning activities. When they've chosen the activities themselves, youth are less likely to be bored. This is also a good opportunity for them to learn how to plan, budget, cooperate with others, and with your help, gauge whether or not an activity is appropriate for their skill levels. So what exactly is unacceptable behavior? This depends largely on the age of the youth and the situation. What is okay for a 9-year-old may not be okay for a 15-year-old, and what is okay on a recreational outing may not be okay on an educational tour. However, you can be sure that the fine line between acceptable and unacceptable has been crossed when a child's behavior causes danger of physical or mental harm to himself or others, is disruptive to the activity of the group, or infringes on the rights of others. There are other clues you can use to help yourself detect unacceptable behavior. If you observe negative reactions from other youth, or if you as an adult are not comfortable with the behavior, you can be sure that it is time to intervene. So how do we respond to unacceptable behavior? When you first suspect unacceptable behavior, you must determine the problem. This often happens instinctively and without us realizing it. But if you're unsure, you may actually have to think about this step. Once you've determined the problem, you should use the least obtrusive measure possible. In other words, don't cause a scene that creates more disruption. Also, consider laws and liability issues. Dealing with other people's children may be different than working with your own. Use methods that would be acceptable to most people. Use this opportunity to earn respect and credibility. It takes time to develop mutual trust. Your goal is not to become a buddy, but a role model who leads by example. And finally, be firm but fair. Being consistent in applying the rules lets the youth know that you mean what you say and that the rules should be taken seriously. We need to learn and practice some simple and respectful ways that we can intervene verbally or non-verbally when we see unacceptable behavior. Think of these strategies as tools. None of these tools works every single time, so the more tools you can have at your fingertips, the more likely you will be successful with youth. Responses that work are respectful and preserve youth's dignity and redirect their behavior. That's one reason to start with very simple and non-threatening tools first. These simple tools act as reminders for youth and allow them to monitor their own behavior. Youth do not always see the reasons for certain rules, and because they frequently are living in the moment, young people may not anticipate unsafe or frightening consequences of their behavior. So here are some tools that we can use to help ward off unacceptable behavior in the first place. First, praise the good. Catching them being good is a great way to reward and encourage positive behaviors. Second, set rules in advance. Don't assume that youth know what you expect. They may become accustomed to totally different rules and expectations at home or in school, so make sure that everyone is clear on the rules. Also, if your planned activities focus more on doing than watching and listening, you are less likely to have behavior problems. Kids want to try things themselves. Show them how and then let them do it. This is the learn by doing philosophy of 4-H. Finally, make learning fun. When activities are fun and interesting to the youth, they're more likely to be engaged and less inclined to misbehave. Now let's shift our focus to risk management. What is risk management? Risk management is protecting assets by minimizing the potential of negative outcomes. In 4-H, two of the largest assets are the 4-H members and you, the leader. As with many organizations, many, if not all, the 4-H events and activities carry some amount of risk. Risk to our members, to our leaders, to spectators, project animals, etc. It's up to you, the club leader, to determine and reduce these risks to the best of your ability. Florida 4-H, with the help of our risk management team, has provided some tools and resources that can help you with risk management. The 4-H Risk Management Pre-Event Planning Guide provides a useful template for developing any 4-H event or activity. This guide is meant to help you identify potential risks and assess how to best manage them. The 4-H Risk Management Pre-Event Planning Matrix is designed to work hand in hand with the planning guide and will help you determine how high or low the risk may be for different aspects of the event or activity. Again, this will help you assess how to best manage the potential risks and move forward. For more information on how to use these tools, please contact your local 4-H office. Sometimes, after using these tools, you will determine that an event or activity is simply too risky to be held. Eliminating that event or activity is an example of avoiding risk. Alternately, the planning guide and matrix may lead you to respond to the potential risks of a given activity or event in one of three other ways. First, by reducing the risk, or making the activity safer somehow. Requiring protective eye gear, posting warning signs, installing railing, or preventing access to certain areas are good examples of reducing risk. Second, you can transfer the risk. An example of this would be purchasing supplemental insurance, in which case the insurance company assumes the financial obligation for accidents, injuries, illnesses, damages, death, or whatever your policy covers. And finally, you can assume the risk yourself, in which case you are responsible for whatever happens, good or bad. You would only do this if the potential risks are reasonable and you are comfortable doing so. Don't forget, when planning events, it is a best practice to form a committee or group to help review the risk and how to respond. As with any event, accidents can happen. If an accident does occur, you should fill out an accident or injury report. This should be done as soon as possible while the event and incident are still fresh on your mind. Asking for witnesses to also provide a report can be beneficial in ensuring all aspects of the accident are reported. Whenever an accident happens, the county 4-H agent or representative should be notified immediately. We are often questioned about insurance. All 4-H programs should be covered under a supplemental insurance policy through American Income Life. This insurance policy is supplemental to the members' guardians' insurance. All currently enrolled 4-H volunteers and youth are covered by the AIL Supplemental Insurance Policy. Please check with your 4-H agent to ensure that this policy has been taken out on behalf of your club before you start your club meetings. Club insurance is for 4-H members and accidents only. So there are two other situations in which you should work with your 4-H agent to purchase additional insurance. If you are planning a trip for which you would like coverage for illnesses, you should work with your county 4-H agent to obtain additional event insurance through American Income Life. Additionally, if your club has any planned events that the general public or spectators may attend, for example field days, clinics, workshops, competitive events, etc., event insurance must be purchased, as these people are not covered under your club insurance policy. These policies are typically very inexpensive, so please talk to your 4-H agent before you rule out an event based on insurance costs. One thing that volunteers often do not consider is personal risk. While you are operating under the direction of the University of Florida IFAS Cooperative Extension Service, and that does provide you with a certain umbrella of protection, there are some things that the University Legal Counsel cannot protect you from. One thing the university specifically warns volunteers against is transporting youth in their personal vehicles. If an accident were to occur, your personal liability insurance will be used and you will be directly responsible. If it becomes necessary to transport your club youth, you are encouraged to use state or county vehicles where available and practical. However, there are some counties which do not have such vehicles. In this case, youth transportation should remain the responsibility of a parent or guardian, if at all possible. This concludes Session 3 of the Florida 4-H Spin Club Leader Training, Positive Discipline and Risk Management. If you have any questions regarding the information covered in this training, please contact your local extension office. You are now ready to complete a brief training evaluation. Return to the training website and follow the evaluation link. The evaluation should take less than 10 minutes to complete. Thank you for your time and commitment to helping us make the best better.